And here we go. All right, good evening, everybody. Very good to be here. Very good to have Aline, Ian, João, Matheus, Rodolfo, Caio, David, Felipe, João Cavalcante, Ilídio, Lucas e Aine. It's very good to have you all here in this class. This is the Behavior Economics of Global Affairs, Economia Comportamental de Questões Globais. I hope you guys are having fun. And let me propose to you what we are going to do tonight. First, I would like to have a look at our second list of exercises. I realize that many of you scored less than 7, and that's something I don't like. So I want to go back there and explain to you at least some of the questions, some of the answers, and make sure everyone is okay with that, okay? We can all make mistakes, and I mean, if it's only 10 questions, you can just easily make mistakes and get a bad grade. But we want to check, okay? We want to verify that all of you are comfortable with what we have seen so far. Então, nós vamos começar dando uma olhadinha nas respostas da segunda lista de exercícios, tá? Then, I'd like to talk a little bit about garbage can, the garbage can model. I know we discussed the last class. I gave you a video for the activities on Friday, but I still wanted to go back and make sure everyone understands why we're studying that, okay? Então, quero voltar lá um pouquinho, fazer o fechamento de novo sobre aquela discussão sobre o modelo de lata de lixo do comportamento organizacional. E eu quero ver se todo mundo entende por que a gente está estudando aquele modelo tão esquisito, mas, ao meu ver, fascinante. E aí a gente vai dar uma olhadinha naquilo. E por último, last but not least, último, mas não menos importante, we want to talk a little bit about cooperation. We are going to play a game. We're going to check out this very nice game, the game of trust, and how people end up trusting each other or not, how people decide to collaborate, or if they decide to cheat against what could be partners or something like this, okay? So it's going to be fun, all right? Any questions before I start? Alguém gostaria de perguntar alguma coisa, comentar algo antes de eu começar? No? Okay. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen here with you guys. And we are going to have a look at the answers for the second list of exercises, okay? Now, let me just start saying, let me share with you all my screen. It's going to be easier. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. And there it is. All right. Now, first, please notice that we got here the median grade at 7, which means at least half of you got 7 and above. But I still had like 6 people scoring the grade 6. And then I had 1 people scoring only 3 points and some other people scoring 1 or 4 points. Okay, so we should have a look and understand what's going on. All right, so I'm going to take a look here at the questions. The first 3 of them, most of you got it right, but apparently problem started here with the question 4, okay? Can you guys see this diagram, concavity and convexity? Can anyone please speak up? I'm looking at the screen shared right now. Alguém poderia falar se está conseguindo ver aí? All right, great. Thank you. Okay, so this is the traditional diagram about prospect theory. So let me go back a little bit. and remind you that the prospect theory was this huge accomplishment by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. These guys got a Nobel Prize for it. And what is it about? Well, it tells us that when we are making decisions that involve risks, we don't behave as predictably or as rational as we would like to think we do. Então, quando a gente está falando de decisões sob risco, o comportamento das pessoas são um pouco diferentes daquele que a gente esperava que fossem, tá? Então, para interpretar esse diagrama, a gente tem 4 afirmativas e a gente tem que achar a que é falsa, tá? A primeira das afirmativas fala assim: concavity on the upper and right-hand region of the diagram indicates that people are generally risk-averse when gains are at stake. Concavidade no quadrante superior direito indica que as pessoas são geralmente avessas ao risco quando os ganhos, né, estão em jogo. All right, this is a correct statement. So let me explain to you what's going on here. Now, concavity is the format of that curve on the upper right-hand side of the diagram. So that curved line over there, it's telling you that people, in order to take risks, they would only accept that if they have like a very large price for that. We don't like taking risks. So it's not like, yeah, I love to put my life in danger. It's not like this. If you want to drive a Formula One car, well, maybe these guys are not the best example, but it turns out that if you drive cars as a race car, as a car racer, well, you do that because you make a lot of money. Se você coloca sua vida em risco dirigindo carros de corrida, uma das razões por que você faz aquilo é porque você ganha muito dinheiro. Então, em geral, as pessoas racionais só aceitam correr risco quando tem um bom retorno, um bom prêmio em jogo. So, this is a true statement. Nothing wrong with the first one. So, let's take a look at the second one. The diagram gathers some of the most important elements of prospect theory. O diagrama reúne alguns dos elementos mais importantes da teoria do prospecto. Come on, this is obviously correct. So, not the one we are looking for. We are looking for a false statement, okay? The third one goes like this. Convexity on the lower and left side region of the diagram indicates that people are generally risk lovers when losses are at stake. Então, está dizendo assim, a convexidade, que é também o formato daquela curvinha na parte de baixo, esquerda, convexidade indica que as pessoas tendem a ser amantes do risco quando está se falando de perdas. This is also a correct statement. And let's understand what's going on here. Now, suppose that you play for a team, some sort of sports team. You can play, I don't know, basketball, you can play volleyball, and you can play, I don't know, soccer or anything like that. Now, let's suppose that your team is not winning. You are losing the game. So, if you are losing a game, it's very likely you're going to do something very radical to try and return to the game, right? Overcome your adversary or something like that. Então, quando a gente está perdendo uma partida de um esporte qualquer, a gente é capaz de fazer uma loucura. Sei lá, um time de futebol pode colocar 5 atacantes. Some people may think, well, that's very dangerous. You know, if you have 5 attackers in a team, there's a good likelihood that you're gonna suffer, you know, and the other team may score, not you. Mas se você já está perdendo o jogo, você fala assim, perdendo por 1, perdendo por 10. Eu vou colocar todos os atacantes lá e vou tentar virar. Então, nesse caso, você fica mais inclinado a aceitar correr riscos. Eu estou saindo um pouquinho da tela, só um minutinho, tá, gente? Porque tem mais alguém pedindo para entrar. Aí eu garanti acesso aqui. So, going back here to the third statement, convexity indicates that people are generally risk lovers when losses are at stake. Quando a gente está sofrendo perdas, a gente tende a ser muito disposto a correr risco para tentar se livrar daquelas perdas. É como se a gente falasse, já estou perdendo mesmo, então bora se jogar, vamos tentar alguma coisa para melhorar. So, that is also true. And this is a very, very important message. Think about this for a while, guys. Now, look at this. Suppose that you were one of those people who lived in a very, very unstable family environment. You never had a home. You were raised in an environment of violence. You have struggled just to eat, just to have enough food on the table. Now, if you were raised in such an environment, there's a good chance that you may take risks in your life. That you feel like, you know what? I'm gonna become a drug dealer. I'm gonna, I don't know, rob people. I'm gonna do. So, those are very dangerous options as a profession. But some people will be feeling that they are already losing so much that they don't care. They simply don't care. They say, oh, yeah, my life is not great, so I don't give a damn. I'm going to just try something very, very dangerous or something like this. Now, you see my point. Obviously, I'm not trying to be here like someone that says it, catastrophista or maybe dogmatic or something like this. I'm not saying that this will always happen, but you can see my point. You know, when you're feeling that you're losing and things are really bad, there's a good chance that you will behave as if risks meant nothing. So yeah, that's true. Okay, and this is very important if you think about countries like Brazil, where you have so many people living in poverty, so many people living with very difficult conditions. And we know many of those people will take risks in a very unreasonable way because they feel like they are already losing. Okay. All right. So this is also a correct statement. So far we had three correct statements. Then we will assume that the fourth one is the false one. So let's have a look at it. The difference in slope of the curves in different quadrants indicates that people tend to associate larger than expected weights on unlikely events. Ele está falando assim, a inclinação diferente dessa curva de cima e da curva de baixo tem a ver com o fato de que as pessoas dão pesos distintos para eventos mais prováveis ou menos prováveis. Well, that's not true. The fact that we have these things going up so slowly and this thing going down so fast, on the other hand, the reason for that is loss aversion. É que a gente detesta perder. A gente tem aversão à perda, nem tanto aversão ao risco em muitas situações. So what is this again? It goes like this. If you find this $100 bill on the streets, you're going to be very happy. But if you lose $100 bill just going to work or something, well, the impact you will feel will be much greater in the negative sense, okay? Ganhar uma nota de $100, de R$100, te dá uma satisfação. perder uma nota de R$ 100 te dá uma sensação de perda muito maior, proporcionalmente falando, do que ganhar aquele valor. Então, é o fato de que dores doem mais do que prazeres da mesma medida. There's someone here trying to get in the classroom. Let's see if I could manage to help this person to get in. Okay. Any questions about these four statements? Ficou claro, gente, a explicação por esses quatro? Então, a resposta era para ser a quarta. And let's have a look at here. How many of you got this one right? So this is question 4. There you go. Yeah, you see? Only 33% of you got it right. And the majority of you, 36%, thought that the first one was wrong. Okay. But you see, people were all over the place. So I felt like I should come back, indeed, and explain each of those statements to you. But let me make sure everyone is fine with them right now. Todo mundo entendeu essas afirmativas dessa vez? Anyone? Questions? Comments? Let me have a look here at the chat. See if you guys have made any comment in the chat. Ok, aquela famosa frase. Oh, Gilberto colocou uma coisa muito engraçada aqui. O que é uma flatulência para quem já está todo sujo? Vou tirar um pouquinho do peso do que ele falou. Yes, Gilberto, that's it. That's the exact explanation why people take risks when they are losing. Very good points. All right. Okay, so let me move on to the fifth question. Now, this one is about probabilities, okay? Again, you are supposed to identify the statement that is false, all right? So let's have a look at the first one. The diagram shows how our mind's system 1 deals with small probabilities. Então, está falando assim, o diagrama mostra como aquele sistema 1, intuitivo, rápido, automático da nossa mente, lida com probabilidades pequenas. And this is a false statement. It is not about quick decisions or taking your time and thinking carefully about something. Even if you think carefully about something, even if people spend like the whole day thinking about a lottery, they still make the decision to bet. Mesmo se a pessoa passar o dia inteiro pensando sobre a Mega Sena, fazendo cálculos, discutindo, conversando, ela ainda vai lá e aposta, acha que vale a pena. Ela não se dá conta de que, do ponto de vista racional, não faz o menor sentido investir e apostar em Mega Sena. A probabilidade é tão ridiculamente pequena que, se a gente fosse racional, ninguém apostava. All right, so this is not a matter of System 1 or System 2. Remember that idea, System 1 and System 2, the dual system. The idea there was like, there is a difference between quick decisions, the ones that we make automatically, intuitively, and the other sort of decisions, the ones that we take our time, we think about all the aspects of a decision, and sometimes we talk to other people, we write down what are the consequences of those, and then we make the decision. So System 1 and System 2. But what we are explaining here is that this problem of overestimating the weight of small probabilities, it's not a matter of quick decision. Even if you think long and hard about a problem in probabilities, you may still tend to give a larger weight for small probabilities, okay? All right, so this is the false statement. Let me check here. How many of you got this one right? Okay. Only 11% of you got it right. Now, the majority of you thought that the last one was correct. So let's have a look at the last statement. The last statement goes like this. The overweighting of small probabilities is not a cultural aspect of decision making. Come on, guys, you're supposed to find the false statement here. And this is not false. O sobrepeso dado às probabilidades pequenas não é um aspecto cultural da tomada de decisões. Let me remind you that we have Mega Sena all over the world. Tem Mega Sena na China, tem Mega Sena na Alemanha, tem Mega Sena nos Estados Unidos, tem Mega Sena no Canadá. Obviously, they have different names for their lotteries, but people bet on incredibly small probabilities all the time. This is not a cultural aspect of decision making. Não é por você ser brasileiro, não é por você ser nordestino, não é por você ser mineiro ou por você ser gaúcho. Não é cultural, é cognitivo. Alright? So this is a true statement. O problema de dar muito peso a probabilidades pequenas não é cultural. Não depende de onde você nasceu, não depende de como você foi criado. Acontece com todo mundo, com o chinês, com o brasileiro, com o alemão ou com o italiano. Alright? Okay.
Peter,
Go ahead.
when you said that it is cognitive, we can understand that is natural. It not can be changed.
Well, I believe it could be changed, but think about this. When you say it's cognitive, what I mean is that it is expected in any human being. So if you say it is natural, yeah, it is kind of natural. It is part of the way our brain works, the way we are programmed or something like this. Então,
Yeah.
o nosso cérebro, ele já tem isso. The funny thing is this. Now, I have to be very careful when I tell you this. Some of the behavioral studies, they are performed with babies. Obviously, you have to be extremely careful having the parents always together, and you have to be extremely, I don't know, you see, when you're making experiments with kids, obviously you have to be very, very careful. And in order to be approved to perform such experiments, people will look at anything you're trying, okay? But in modern science, we do have behavioral experiments with kids as early as, I don't know, 1 year, 1 year and a half, 2 years old or something like that. Então, é possível fazer experimentos com muito cuidado, com a presença dos pais, em um ambiente super saudável e tal, mas é possível fazer experimentos com crianças de 1 ano e meio, 2 anos de idade, quando o cérebrozinho já está desenvolvendo. So we can see that some of these features of how the brain works, it is like natural. It doesn't matter how the kids are raised from Chinese parents or, I don't know, from Japanese parents or American parents or Brazilian parents. Então, são coisas inatas, digamos assim. Talvez seja essa palavra. But the second part of your question, when you say, does that mean it can never be changed? Well, then I don't know. Because one thing we do know is that there's a thing called uh, neuroplasticity, neuroplasticidade. O que é neuroplasticidade? Você pode ter experimentado isso na sua vida, Aline. Pelo menos eu tive. A primeira vez que eu vi alguém comer um sashimi na minha frente, eu fiquei com um enjoo. Eu achei nojento. Alguém comer peixe cru na minha frente. Como é que pode a pessoa comer um filé de peixe cru, puro, sem nada, sem fritar, sem nada? 5, 7 anos depois, eu já era capaz de ter desejo de sair de casa para poder comer aquilo. So, our tastes and the way our brains work, well, they can change depending on the experiences we have, depending on the way we develop and anything like that. We can change. But some of these tendencies, they are very hard to change. So you may still feel like taking small probabilities, even though you may convince yourself that you are never going to bet on Mega Sena. Então, mesmo que você tenha parado, pensado, refletido sobre isso longamente e feito um compromisso com você mesmo de que você nunca mais vai apostar na Mega Sena, aquela tendência a dar um peso grande para pequenas probabilidades ainda está lá. Pode até não acontecer naquela circunstância específica da aposta, mas vai aparecer em outras horas. Vai aparecer numa hora em que você, sei lá, está assistindo uma partida de tênis, tá 2-0 para um dos jogadores, 2 sets a 0, já está no meio do terceiro set, o vencedor está ganhando tudo, e você continua assistindo, achando que de alguma forma o jogador que está perdendo vai virar, vai se encantar e de repente virar o jogo. A gente faz isso, a gente continua acreditando em probabilidades muito pequenas. I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah, the thing is, it is possible to change, but it's unlikely. É possível mudar essas coisas, mas é muito pouco provável, porque são coisas muito profundas lá na maneira do cérebro funcionar. All right? Let me check here. All right, let me see if I have other questions. So, can we talk that countries that people are poorest, violence will be high because people are able to take the risk of the violence? All right, this is a good question, Matheus. Now, a pergunta do Matheus, gente, está falando assim: se eu disse que uma pessoa que já nasce com a sensação de que está perdendo, ela está mais sujeita a tomar decisões arriscadas, e ela vive num ambiente em que ela sempre está com a sensação de que está perdendo, ela está mais sujeita a tomar decisões arriscadas. Ela falou assim, então quer dizer que pessoas pobres estariam mais sujeitas a viver na violência. And what I'm going to say about this, Matheus, it is not a deterministic thing. It's not like 100% guarantee, okay? It is possible and it is likely. It is probable, ok? É provável que em ambientes mais pobres você tenha mais violência em geral. Existe uma correlação alta em relação a isso. But it's not like a guarantee. It's not 100% guarantee. It's not a deterministic thing. Many other factors are at play when we talk about violence, ok? Então, é possível? É provável? Costuma ser. Mas não é uma coisa do tipo causa e efeito. Tem muitos outros elementos que podem estar envolvidos no desenvolvimento de uma sociedade mais violenta, tá? All right. You see now that we are talking about interesting stuff, right? We're talking about things that are deep down on the way we think. Let me see. I think Kyle has a question. Go ahead, Kyle.
I don't know if you already gone over it because my phone died, but I have a question about the question which mentioned insurance policies. I don't know if you can quickly go back to it if you already addressed it, but I wasn't sure about the answer.
What's the name of it? What's the number of it? Sorry,
I,
Kyle.
I don't know if I remember correctly, it could be number one or two,
All
but
right.
it mentioned insurance policies.
Okay, let's take a look at it. All right, the first
No,
one,
not the first one,
the second one,
not the second one.
yeah, third one. Okay. All right. Third
Yes.
one goes like this. According to prospect theory, the overweighting of low probabilities may contribute to the attractiveness of both insurance policies and gambling or betting. Okay? Uma tradução, segundo a teoria do prospecto, o sobrepeso que damos a probabilidades pequenas pode contribuir para a atratividade tanto de apólices de seguro como das loterias e jogos de azar. Now, let's think about this together, okay? Now, think about this. Suppose that there is a very small chance that your car is going to be stolen, okay? Suppose that you live in a place, in a part of the city where you don't have too many robberies, okay? Suponha que você vive numa área da cidade que é segura, que não tem tanto assalto, tanto roubo. You still buy car insurance. So, yes, it is true. I mean, the sensation of safety, even though the probability of having your car stolen is very small, that probability, as small as it is, may lead you to say, oh, I prefer 0% loss. I prefer to be guaranteed, and I will buy car insurance. Okay, so yes, it is part of the decisions of many people that buy auto insurance. It is part of my decision, by the way. Now look at this. I drive from work to home, from home to work. I live in a condo where I have like private security. There's almost 0% chance that my car will be stolen at night when I'm sleeping. And it's also very small probability that my car will be stolen at o FRPE. No entanto, eu vou lá e compro o seguro automóvel. Eu prefiro 100% de certeza que eu não vou perder meu carro para um roubo. So, yeah. The second thing is the one we were talking about. Gambling, betting. Come on. People don't realize that the odds are very much against us, you know? The probabilities that we face when we are betting, in general, they are very, very small. And we don't care about that. We go ahead and put our money in those bets. So, yes, it is true. The overweighting of low probabilities, yes, it can contribute to the attractiveness of both insurance policies and gambling. Então, olha que coisa curiosa, né, Caio? Que um traço do funcionamento do cérebro humano pode nos levar, por um lado, a arriscar e perder dinheiro, por outro lado, a uma atitude prudente. You see, these are the kind of discussions that make us understand that cognitive biases, they are not defects of our brains. Os vieses cognitivos não são defeitos do nosso cérebro. Eles são soluções para a savana africana. Na savana africana, eles faziam todo sentido. Como o nosso cérebro foi desenvolvido lá nos 300 mil anos em que a nossa espécie morou na savana africana, correr risco de comer uma coisa esquisita, sei lá, probabilidade pequena de eu morrer se eu comer uma fruta que eu nunca comi, sei lá, por via das dúvidas, eu não vou comer. Então a gente acaba que não pode considerar os viéses cognitivos como sendo defeitos da mente, e sim como sendo traços justificáveis, razoáveis, para uma mente que foi desenvolvida num outro contexto, que não o nosso atual. All right? Great. Did that make sense, Caio? Did I help? All right. All right, good. So you just want to make sure you understood the reasoning about insurance policies. Okay, all right. So let's go back to question 6 now, right? Okay, question 6. Overweighting of small probabilities and loss aversion help explaining why people oppose refugee acceptance and immigration. Now, let's look at this. This is one of the big things. We have to take it. We have to take this thing seriously. O sobrepeso dado a pequenas probabilidades e a aversão à perda ajudam a explicar por que as pessoas se opõem ao acolhimento de refugiados e à imigração. Então pensa assim, ó. Você é um norte-americano, você mora nos Estados Unidos. Aí você está vendo os mexicanos cruzarem a fronteira todo ano. E você pensa assim, qual é a chance desse cara que mal fala inglês, que nunca estudou, qual é a chance desse cara realmente roubar meu emprego? Ah, muito pequena. Praticamente zero. It doesn't matter. I don't want any chance of that. See? So even when this probability is very small, you don't want to have it different than zero. You would prefer to say, just take those Mexican away. We don't want them here. They are not welcome here. So, yes, it is true. Even though your life will not be changed with 99% chance, like less than 1% chance that your life will be somehow impacted by people moving to your country, you still don't know, you don't want that. So it is loss aversion, you don't want to lose, and it is the overweighting of small probabilities. Yes, they can help us understanding why people don't want refugees and refugee acceptance or immigration. Muitas pessoas levam em consideração isso. A ideia de que podem perder e de que mesmo que a probabilidade seja pequena, preferem que ela seja zero. All right. So this is a true statement. Question 7. Tversky and Kahneman did a poor job in attracting attention to important limitations of conventional economic theories. Oh, come on, guys. These guys got a Nobel Prize. Tversky e Kahneman foram mal sucedidos em chamar a atenção para limitações importantes das teorias econômicas convencionais. Come on, these guys did a splendid job, like fantastic job. Question 8. People are easily convinced about the need for action to fight global warming as long as they are educated and well informed. As pessoas seriam facilmente convencidas sobre a necessidade de ações para combater o aquecimento global, desde que elas sejam educadas e bem informadas. This is wrong. This is not true. We have very well educated people, very well informed people who don't want to act, don't want to fight global warming. So, if your business is somehow oil related, se você está na indústria do petróleo, não importa se você é bem informado, bem educado, você fala assim, na hora que começarem a combater aquecimento global, eu vou perder dinheiro. E eu não quero perder dinheiro. Falo, meu amigo, o mundo inteiro está se lascando. Ele fala, não, mas o meu não vai primeiro. So, no, it is not a matter of being educated or well informed. And this is another message that we have in this class. Pay attention to what I'm going to say, guys. Information is not enough. Information is a good start, but giving people the right information doesn't solve the problem. We still have to deal with cognitive biases, with their histories and things like that. I can see Aline has her hand raised. Go ahead, Aline.
Yeah, I loved this question because this question, I mean, was one of the motivations for my how can I say that? For vou tentar falar em português, tá?
Tudo bem, não tem
Eu acho
problema,
que eu vou
Aline.
conseguir expressar um pouco melhor. Eu acho
Uhum,
que toda a questão que envolve essa questão especificamente falando é um dos principais motivos, se não o principal motivo que me fez entrar no curso que eu estou fazendo. Então,
uhum,
eu sou jornalista e atuo com sustentabilidade. E a
uhum,
grande pergunta é como fazer com que as pessoas entendam que as ações delas importam para que a gente consiga mitigar os efeitos das mudanças climáticas. Então, é uma coisa que mexe muito comigo, porque a linha que eu sigo é a linha de informar, mas tentando fazer conexões nessas informações. É tentando
uhum,
fazer com que as pessoas se vejam dentro dessas informações. Então, se grande maioria das pessoas não sabem o que são os Objetivos de Desenvolvimento Sustentável, por exemplo, então eu vou precisar traduzir isso. E nessa
uhum,
tradução não basta eu explicar o que é o ODS 3, que trata sobre saúde. Não, eu vou ter que dizer que a saúde dela, sabe, ela pode ser impactada de tal forma e ela pode agir de tal forma para ela conseguir, sabe? Então, assim, é meio que tentar fazer as conexões para que as pessoas se vejam e elas se vendo, elas consigam, sabe, se ver representadas naquilo. É como se, assim, não
uhum,
importa se está chovendo canivete, se está caindo um bocado de coisa, se a pessoa mora na Praia de Boa Viagem, para ela está tudo bem, na beira-mar. Ela vai precisar se ver na situação, em alguma situação, para ela poder se sentir. Eu não sei se é isso, sabe? Mas, assim, quando eu entrei nessa disciplina, poxa, eu quero tentar entender aí qual é, sabe? Onde é que é,
uhum.
qual é o ponto, sabe? Qual é o ponto de
Yeah,
chegada aí nessas conexões. Enfim,
yeah,
aí eu gostaria de fazer essa pergunta agora, aproveitando que estamos falando sobre isso.
exactly, Aline. This is a great question, and I thank you for bringing this thing up. And this is why we are here, okay? You got in the right class. So what I can tell you is this: visualization, as you guessed, is a very powerful tool. One of the most effective ways to convince people is to promote visualization. Let me give you another example, which is not related to global warming and sustainability, but it is kind of a similar question, okay? So, when you tell people that they should eat healthy and that they should not drink too much, they should not smoke, and they should sleep 8 hours a day or something, right? You tell people, and they say, yeah, 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 I know that, but we don't do that, right? So, there was this website some time ago. I may try and find it to you and send it to you guys. But what they did was this: how many hours of sleep you have every night on average. And then you choose how many hours. And then they said, do you drink? How often do you drink? And as you were selecting your options for this set of questions, they would take your picture and show you what you're going to look like when you're 65 years old. This is fascinating, like it would show you how much, old and degraded you would look like depending on the choices you make today or something like this. I will try and find this website later for you guys and share it in our WhatsApp group, okay? But it's this kind of a possibility, if people visualize the consequences of their actions, then it's better to make decisions. And I mean, not being able to see something that will only happen in the future, it is natural. I mean, that's what we are. You may say, oh, we are stupid. No, it's not stupid, but we are too much focused on today. And that's like a trace of human brains or human minds. So one of the answers you already got there, it's visualization. Yes, visualization is very powerful way to convince people of something that they just don't want to see. They can see, but they don't want to see, right? Now, other possibilities is when you uh, approach the whole situation from an affective perspective. So if you show people, I don't know, the possibility of their kids being raised in a country where you would have like floods for weeks on a row, uh, over 2 or 3 months in every year. Então imagine que você consiga colocar para uma pessoa assim, deixa eu te mostrar como vai ser a vida do seu filho vivendo em Boa Viagem daqui a 50 anos, ou do seu neto, né, vamos dizer assim, do seu neto vivendo em Boa Viagem daqui a 70 anos. Eu vou mostrar para ele assim, olha, seu neto vai passar a estudar durante os meses de maio a agosto em casa. Vai ter que ser em casa à distância, porque as ruas de Recife ficam intransitáveis. Para sair em Recife, você precisa de barco. As coisas são entregues de barco durante aqueles meses. So, I mean, if you involve something that is related to people's heart, I know some people may say, oh, you're trying to manipulate them. But actually, what you are trying to say is like, this is the truth. You are just not realizing. And I don't know. So, uh, just another example like this, if you want to convince people to donate money, for charity, you can tell them the statistics. They say, every $10 you give, we are going to save the life of 3 kids. Okay. And they say, oh, right. Just $10. Yes, I'll do that. But that's not what happened. What they do is like, this is Hannah. This is a kid who lives in Kenya. She needs $3 so that she will get a shot and not be killed by a disease. Can you help? And it's much, much more effective. Dá à pessoa a estatística de quanto que o seu dinheiro vai gerar de vacinas e quantas vidas de crianças que pode salvar, é a informação correta, racional. O que funciona não é isso. O que funciona é você mostrar uma criança, um exemplo de criança, e falar assim, essa menina hoje mora no Quênia e a vacina que ela precisa tomar custa R$3. Você pode ajudar? Aí você fala, oh, yeah, I can do. So, I mean, one more time, we're talking about visualization, but actually what we're trying to say is that there are better ways to help people make better decisions. And we have to look for them. I mean, there's no like a golden rule. You have just to keep trying, testing, and seeing what happens, what works. I see Kayo's hand. Go ahead, Kayo.
Can the example of the first of the website you just said be considered a form of nudge?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, you are
I
not.
wasn't sure because in my mind, if you tell people how they're gonna look like based on your current lifestyle, and if that visualization makes you feel bad about yourself, wouldn't that be the opposite of what you want to achieve with a nudge?
Well, I mean, there is this risk. I see your point, but I don't think that the way they manipulate the image is so dramatic to the point that people will be depressed. It's more like a funny way they treat it. It's not like you don't look like someone that is a corpse already. you're not, you're not a zombie or something like that. you you just seem like you lose more hair, you look fat, you have more wrinkles, I don't know, more marks in your face or something like this. So it is not as profound and dramatic to the point that people could get depressed. But you raised an important point, because there is a risk there. Yeah, it is risky. So you have to be careful that could be a little bit further than nudge, depending on how you can impact someone's life. Yeah, you're right. Gostei das perguntas, gostei da pergunta da Aline e gostei do comentário do Caio. É isso mesmo, gente. Olha só. É uma linha tênue entre ajudar as pessoas a fazerem melhores decisões e manipular ou causar sofrimento. Então, é preciso essa atenção que vocês estão mostrando aqui. A gente precisa, de fato, ser humilde. But I couldn't leave this out without making a comment about one thing, you know. I don't know about you guys, but we have like political preferences, you know. Someone likes Lula, someone likes Bolsonaro, and I understand that, but I can promise you it is true. I know wonderful people from both sides. And I understand that if you are Lula, you may look at me and come on, Luis, you like Bolsonaristas. Now I say, no, wait. And if you are from Bolsonaro, you may look at me and say, come on, Luis, you like Lula and those guys. But I can promise you, and you probably know that, we have wonderful and intelligent people on both sides. So it is hard because we would like the world to be simpler. It is not. Sometimes we have to understand that people's history, their preferences, their sensitivities are different, and they may end up in completely different options and positions in life. So, yeah, life is tough. It is not black or white. It is mostly gray, and we are trying to figure out what is what. That's it. All right, great. Let me go back here and check just the last sentences here. Okay, so question 9 about prospect theory and the behavior of investors in financial markets. Which of the following statements is false? All right, so let's look for the false statement. First one, loss aversion helps explaining why people tend to avoid and postpone selling assets to have lost value, that have lost value. A aversão à perda nos ajuda a explicar porque as pessoas tendem a evitar e adiar a venda dos ativos que perderam valor. Gente, isso é verdadeiro e acontece toda hora. O cara comprou a ação da Petrobras, ela subiu, ele vende rapidinho para garantir o lucro. O cara comprou a ação da Petrobras, ela caiu, ele fala, vou comprar mais, porque aí eu vou tirar a média do preço, na hora que subir eu vou ganhar com as duas. And people lose money like, you know, terribly, okay? Então é verdadeiro. The second one, people tend to feel losses as intensively as they experience gains. Oh, come on, this is just the opposite we have discussed so far. As pessoas sentem as dores, as perdas de maneira muito mais intensiva do que os ganhos. The third, so this one is the false one, right? People tend to feel losses as intensively as they experience gains. That's false. As perdas doem muito mais do que os ganhos nos dão prazer. Just to make sure, let's check the third and the fourth one. Decision making frequently involves subjective analysis of facts and figures. É verdade. A decisão, as decisões que a gente toma, frequentemente envolve análise subjetiva de dados e números, né? De fatos, de números e tudo mais. Então, a falsa é aquela lá mesmo. Só para completar, an individual can act both as risk seeker and risk averse in any given day, depending on specific contexts. Uma pessoa pode agir como uma amante de risco ou como uma pessoa avessa ao risco, em qualquer dia da sua vida, dependendo dos contextos específicos. Yes, that is true. And this sentence here explains you why the theory is called prospect theory. Prospect theory means teoria da perspectiva. Dependendo do seu contexto, você pode agir como um amante do risco, um Felipe Massa, um Ayrton Senna. Dependendo do outro contexto, você pode agir igual a Madre Teresa de Calcutá ou sua avó, assim, daquele jeito mais cuidadoso e mais prevenido possível. All right. And just to finish, we have this example of nudge, right? So this is the one you have like the cigarette butt and you put it in to vote for Ronaldo or Messi. So what we're doing here, now the question is, which of the factors is not present? So can we see salience here, destaque? Yes, we can. Can we see pleasure, satisfaction? Yes, we can. Can we see timing, o momento oportuno? Yes, we can. Can we see choice overload, which means sobrecarga de opções? No, we can't, okay? This is a simple choice. You just vote for Ronaldo or Messi. Who is the best player? That's it. It's not complicated. It's simple. So what we can't see in this example is choice overload, okay? Sobrecarga de opções. All right. I'm glad we came back. You see, very good discussions came out in this opportunity. All right. Now, what else we had for tonight? We wanted to talk a little bit more about garbage can model, right? So let me stop sharing this screen here. I'm gonna open up the class notes, and just to make sure we wrap things up in good terms about the garbage can theory of organizational behavior. Just a second, I'm gonna open up here the class notes. Let me see if I got the right one. Yeah, I did. So let me share again the screen review.
We have
Here we
a
go.
question.
Oh, sure, go ahead. Let me see here. It's in the chat, right? But what is that wrong? Selling over the media of the value? Oh, but is that wrong? Selling over the media of the value? I don't understand your question, Mateus. You want to say it in Portuguese or type it in Portuguese? Você estava se referindo a alguma coisa que a gente já falou lá, né? Ah, das ações. Okay. Oh, okay. I remember. We were talking that people lose money because when the stocks go down, people hold to them, right? And when stocks go up, people sell it right away, sell them right away, okay? We are talking about this. All right, so your question is, qual seria a maneira correta de fazer, né? Wow. It's a very hard question, but I'm trying to present to you what is the rational way to act. The rational way to act is that you establish beforehand, you establish how much is the largest loss you are willing to accept, and how much is the intended gain you are willing to wait. Okay, so you should make those choices before you buy the stocks. Before you buy Petrobras, you should say, all right, if it goes down below 18 reais, I'm going to sell it all I have. Now, you have in these platforms, you have the opportunity to program those decisions. You know that? It's called stop loss or stop gain. Não sei se vocês sabem do que a gente está falando, viu, gente? Mas olha só, quando você tem uma conta numa corretora, você faz compra e venda de ações diariamente, tem mecanismos que você compra as ações. Então, vamos supor, comprei ações valendo 40 reais. Cada lote de ações da Petrobras está valendo 40 reais. Não está isso tudo, mas só para exemplo. Suponha que eu comprei valendo 40 reais. Eu consigo dizer lá assim, ó, se cair abaixo de 38, venda tudo. Ou se cair abaixo de 38, venda metade. Se subir acima de 45, venda tudo. Se subir acima de 42, venda metade. So, the right way to make those decisions, Mateus, is with a cold hand a cool mind. You see, not at the moment, not like when you are, anxious about your money. Faz sentido, Matheus? All right. So go ahead and look for this thing. It's called stop loss or stop gain. Okay. And then you can program some actions to be automatic. And then you are not subject to your own passions, ok? É como se você estivesse se protegendo das suas próprias paixões, do seu próprio impulso. All right. Very good. Okay, so let me share here my screen with you. Let's just wrap things up with those garbage cans. So, what we are talking about here is this. We're talking about this strange organization where three things happen. People's preferences change all the time. The way we do things is changing. We are, I don't know, accepting new technologies. We are accepting new ways to conduct our tasks, our jobs. As pessoas mudam a maneira como fazem o seu trabalho, mudam a maneira como conduzem a sua participação, né, numa cadeia de atividades. And the third condition is varying participation. Sometimes people show up, sometimes people don't. Now, if all these conditions were present all the time in an organization, well, this organization is not going to work so well, right? Se todo mundo estiver mudando de opinião, de preferências toda hora, se a maneira de fazer o trabalho toda hora muda, e se uma hora as pessoas participam, outra hora não participam, vai ser muito difícil dessa organização funcionar. But the point with this discussion is like this. Any organization, at least part of the time, experiences that. Então, qualquer organização, por mais ajustadinha, bem negociada, bem estruturada que for, por mais que ela seja assim, em alguma parte do tempo ela tem que lidar com esses problemas. All right, so it's like the way we have to understand people and people's decision in a more realistic way. Well, the same thing happens to organizations. We have to look at organizations and say, ultimately, we are talking about a bunch of people. And people are like that. People are strange creatures. We change opinions. We want to do different stuff. So, yeah. Now, what is the main message about all of this? It's like, first, those strange things happen, but they may happen less often if we have good organizational structures. And sometimes we use a different word for that. We call it governança. Let me go back here and check with you. Raise your hand if you has ever heard about this term, governança. Levanta a mão se você já ouviu falar dessa expressão, governança. All right, good. Now, let me guess. Sometimes people have heard the term governança when they are talking about this company obeys the law and we comply with all the regulations. Então, muitas vezes, quando eles falam governança, eles falam assim, aqui a gente obedece às regras, a lei, a legislação, a gente segue fielmente. Yeah, this is part of governança. Sometimes people say we have good governança because we treat our workers with respect. E fala assim, não, a gente tem uma boa governança aqui. Ah, por quê? Não, porque a gente faz tudo para agradar e para proteger os nossos trabalhadores. Eles aqui recebem seguro-saúde, aqui eles têm um sindicato forte, a gente respeita o sindicato, aqui a gente negocia as coisas com tranquilidade, sem conflito, sem briga, a gente nunca teve uma greve, a gente vai para o diálogo, senta, conversa. Yeah, this is part of governance too. Now, we don't realize that good governance, boa governança, means that we take decisions very seriously. We look for important decisions and we say, oh, this is an important decision, so let's talk all about it. Let's talk with everyone about it. Let's make sure that everyone is heard. Okay? So, uma boa governança, ou o que a gente está chamando aqui no slide de uma boa estrutura, é quando uma organização entende e protege as decisões que ela toma. Sejam decisões sobre como ela funciona internamente, sobre o impacto que ela tem na comunidade do entorno, na sociedade como um todo. Então, imagina só, uma empresa que produz um remédio, produz o fentanil, produz um opioide, que é responsável por uma das maiores crises de saúde pública do planeta hoje em dia. As pessoas se viciando com opioides. Tá? É gravíssimo isso, gente. É um remédio. Se você tomar uma dose muito alta, de 2 gramas, você morre. Morre. Tomou uma dose muito alta, de 2 gramas, você não tem só uma overdose, você morre. Se você tomar uma dose menor, a chance de você se viciar com uma dose já é superior a 50%. Uma vez que você experimentar, a chance de você se viciar é superior a 50%. Então, esse remédio é perigosíssimo, perigosíssimo. Agora, imagine uma empresa que desenvolve esse remédio. Faz teste e coloca à venda esse remédio. Será que essa empresa não se deu conta, em nenhum momento, do risco que ela estava trazendo? Tá, então, no meio do caminho entre desenvolver a droga e vender, essa empresa teve que fazer essas perguntas. E alguma hora alguém falou, bora para o mercado. All right, so those decisions, they have to be protected. They have to be carefully planned. They have to involve other people, not only our people. You see, sometimes you have to invite someone from outside the organization to come and tell us what they think about what we're doing. Então, às vezes, uma boa governança significa uma organização convidar alguém de fora para vir analisar o nosso processo de tomada de decisão e falar assim, vocês já pensaram que pode machucar, pode magoar tal e tal pessoa? All right, so this is what we are talking about here, okay? That's why we are studying the garbage can model. And next, we're going to talk about unethical behavior. Next subject in our class will be about unethical behavior in organizations. So, a Aline estava falando aqui que ela é jornalista, né? So, think about newspapers, you know? Sometimes people want to write what they think. And sometimes their boss will come and say, no, please don't talk about that. We don't want to mention that. Why? Oh, this guy is one of our sponsors. Esse cara que você está criticando aí no seu artigo é um dos patrocinadores do nosso jornal. Não, pode tirar esse assunto, fala de outra coisa. Vai procurar outro assunto para falar. Now, this thing, obviously, I don't know if that's the case of Aline or any place she worked for, but those things happen in newspapers, in magazines today. So how can you trust an organization like that? You know, they have to decide what are the conditions for becoming a sponsor. So, for example, let me give you another example. There is one newspaper in Brazil, it's called Nexo Jornal. These guys say, we don't take sponsors. We only have subscribers. Eles falam assim, a gente não tem anunciante. A gente não aceita anunciante. A gente não quer dinheiro de ninguém, a não ser do assinante. Que aí a nossa opinião, o nosso compromisso é só com o assinante. Não tem anúncio de carro, não tem anúncio de governo, não tem nada no Nexo Journal. So this is a decision that the organization made. And this is an example of a company that is well structured, just like the slide is saying, okay? So that's what we mean by good organizational structure, okay? It is like how careful we are when we plan decision-making processes, all right? How do you guys like that description of governança? Caio, Aline, Lucas, vocês que já ouviram outras definições de governança, que tal essa definição? It is about how carefully we plan the decision-making process. É em relação a quão bem a gente planeja o processo de tomada de decisões. Isso é que é uma empresa com boa governança. All right? Okay.
The first time sorry, I didn't. The first time that I heard about governance.
Governança.
Yeah, it was related to sustainability. So,
it's ESG, right?
Yeah.
Environment, social, and governance, right? Well, in that context, many times when we say governance, we are talking about how fair we are to employees, right? I mean, it is important to be fair with your employees, obviously, but there's so much more. Like, the community around a company, for example. So, algumas empresas aqui da região metropolitana de Recife começaram a acordar para Jesus para isso, e elas estão lá com seus planos de ESG, e eu estou chegando para essas pessoas e falando assim, vem cá, no entorno da sua empresa não tem muito cachorro de rua? Porque até onde eu vejo, esses cachorros de rua estão abandonados na cidade inteira. Lá não tem, não? Aí a pessoa fala assim, tem. Aí eu falo assim, e você acha que não tem nada a ver com ESG? Que tem cachorros morrendo, passando fome ali, ou sendo abandonados no entorno? Então, assim, até virar a chave, às vezes demora para a pessoa. Todo mundo fala de ESG pensando na sustentabilidade, né? Mas governança é uma assunção de responsabilidade muito mais ampla. Aí a jornada fica mais interessante, ao meu ver. Go ahead, Aline.
Não, eu queria dizer que sustentabilidade é porque a gente precisa tirar da caixinha que sustentabilidade é só ambiental, né? E quando a gente pensa no social, a gente também está falando sobre sustentabilidade. Então, falar sobre o cachorro, falar sobre... Muito além de falar sobre os empregados das empresas, pessoas, animais, ambiente, social, tudo está relacionado. Então, é mais ampliar mesmo, sair dessa caixa e perceber que o negócio é redondo, né?
Yeah. Let me tell you a joke. If you guys are into this ESG movement, let me tell you this joke I tell every time, and people like it. It's like this. Suppose that someone asks you, you meet a friend that you haven't met for a long time, and then a friend of yours asks you, so how is life? How is it going? How is your marriage? And then you say, well, my marriage is sustainable. Think about it. Se alguém perguntar para você como é que vai ser o casamento, você falar que ele é sustentável, você fala, pô, não deve estar muito bom, né? Do tipo assim, é tolerável, So sustainability may not be the ultimate goal. We may be better than sustainability. And sometimes people don't realize that, but it's okay. All right, guys. We still have a few more minutes, so let me just talk a little bit about a game, but you guys will have to play the game by yourselves at home, okay? So the game is this one. I'm gonna pick it up, the link here. The link is in the class notes. There we go. This is the one. So let me take here this address. It is, okay. Let me close this down. Check the chat box, please. Okay. Check the chat here. I'm gonna click on this and I'm gonna open up the screen so you guys can check what I'm showing, all right? The evolution of trust. Okay, so there is this very nice song here. Let me see if I can hear. No, somehow I can't hear it. Yeah, it's gonna start. All right, you see? Can you guys hear the song? Okay. Now, first thing, let me show you that you can play this game in Portuguese or in English. Okay. Let me go back here. I think you can choose. Let me see. Let me start over. Okay. Where can we change it to Portuguese? Let me see if I know here. Yeah, it is here. Translation. So you can see down here, you can go ahead and play the game in Português do Brasil. So if you want, you can play the game as A Evolução da Confiança, or if you prefer, like me, you can play the game in English, français, or espanhol. Anyway, so what is this about? Yes. During the World War I, all of a sudden, peace broke out. Durante plena Guerra Mundial, Primeira Guerra Mundial, desculpe, teve um momento em que soldados alemães e ingleses saíram da trincheira e começaram a jogar futebol. Sorry. Let me drink some water here. Então imagina isso, gente, no meio de uma guerra, tudo bem, está se aproximando do Natal, uma noite de Natal, você vai lá, sai da trincheira, começa a jogar bola com o seu inimigo. So, how can you trust these people? I mean, you've been killing each other. You've been shooting each other. And all of a sudden, there's this fact. You're not going to kill each other now. Or this day. And people started playing soccer. So this is an interesting question. How do we know we can trust people? How can we know we can cooperate? Or how can we know if people will take advantage of us? So this is about a game. It's the game of trust. Now the game is like this. Here we are the guy with the red hat, and there is someone else, the other player with the blue hat. Okay? Anytime you are playing the game, you have two options. You can cheat or you can cooperate. And it goes like this. You will put a coin. If both of you put a coin inside the box, inside the machine, both will gain 2 coins. But if you put a coin and the other person doesn't, just pretends he's going to put the coin, then he takes 3 coins and you lose what you have. So let's suppose that I start cheating. So it happens that I take 3 and the other person lost 1. If I cheat again, or I mean both cooperate, then both get 2 coins. And what's going to happen when you have to play longer times, right? So here comes the person you say, I'm going to cooperate. Both of us have put the coin. Both of us scored and we came out with 2 coins. If I cooperate again, alright, it's going like this. Now, let's check out what happens if I cheat. See, I get 3 coins, and the other guy there lost 1. But now there's a very good chance that he will cheat too. Let's see, if I cheat again. You see, so I lost this person's trust. Now I can try and cooperate again. That person now looks like he hates me. And then here comes another person. I don't know how nice the person it is. I'll just try and cooperate first. Let's see. Oh, see. So I'm gonna cheat now. So depending on how you interact with someone else, you may be inclined to cheat or to cooperate. Okay. Sometimes you're gonna score, sometimes you're gonna win, sometimes you're not. So this is like a simulation. And anytime you're gonna have a different player. So let me see. I have now this pink flower here. I'm gonna try and cooperate. The person is also cooperating. I'm gonna cooperate again. Yes, we are both scoring. And it looks like, yeah, we have each other's trusts. It's doing fine. Okay, so here comes another person. So each and every person like this is someone with a different perspective. I want you guys to play this game to the point that you are gonna be explain what's going on, okay? So I'm just clicking here just to go through so you guys have a hint of what's going. So here comes like an investigator. I cooperate. Let me try and cooperate. Now he's trying to take advantage of me. So I'm gonna take advantage of him too. Now I'm gonna take advantage. I don't trust this guy. He doesn't trust me again. Alright, so you're gonna be invited to play a game with 5 different people. So I scored 29 at this game here. But look, the largest amount that I could score was 49. So I didn't do so well as I expected, right? Now, the thing that's interesting is when you try to understand what each of these creatures are. Here, the first one, the first guy, he's called Copycat. I start with cooperate, and afterwards, I just copy whatever you did in the last round. So, the copycat is like copia, imita. Now, this guy is always cheats. He will always try to take advantage of you. This lady is always cooperate. The question is, how will these guys do against each other? And I will leave it to you. You guys will play this game and figure out what happens when you play enough, okay? What kind of behavior will be of more advantage? Which one will tend to, I don't know, to prosper more? I want you guys to try this out and learn a few things about cooperation, okay? If you go through all the way to the end of this game, at the end, there will be an explanation of what can help if you want to sustain cooperation. O que poderia ajudar? Que tipo de lição que você tem para você estabelecer cooperação com alguém de uma maneira sustentável. All right? Okay, guys, I'm gonna copy this address here to our WhatsApp group, and I want you guys to play a little bit with it. Remember, you can play it in English or in Portuguese, okay? All right. Any questions before we finish? Okay, then I'm gonna stop recording here, and I'm gonna be here for a few more minutes if you want to talk to me. Otherwise,